have anybody in your life who likes good food, you certainly need to make this fisherman soup recipe for them. It is finger-licking good. Today's episode is sponsored by Viva Dishwashing Liquid, my all-time favorite dishwashing liquid, and they have sent me here to share this fisherman soup recipe with you all. For those of you who have been asking me for this recipe, you have Viva to thank for it. So go in the comment section and say a big thank you to Viva. Of course, I'll be sharing with you why it is my all-time favorite dishwashing liquid. Some of you already know, but for those who don't know, you better stick around to find out soon in the video. Alright guys, let's get right into this cooking action, shall we? This video is sponsored by Viva Dishwashing Liquid, your best bet for a hassle-free dishwashing experience. So for my fisherman soup recipe, I'll be making use of some barracuda fish. I'm using barracuda as my choice because it's very firm to the touch and won't scatter easily in the pot. I'd also be using some giant prawns, some snails as well, some colorful periwinkles, dry fish, and ungolo. Now those are all of the seafoods that I'll be using for this recipe, but you can use any other seafood of your choice. I would also be using some uziza leaves and ground uziza powder as well. I'll be using some palm oil, ground crayfish, some cocoyam, seasoning powder, Cameroon pepper, diced onions, some yellow pepper, and then some pepper blend. Now in this pepper blend I have some onions and tatache, which is just some chili red bell pepper. As usual, the full ingredient list will be in the description box down below, so be sure to check it out there, okay? Now start by placing the snails in the pot that's already heating up on medium heat. Now you guys, I got these 5 pieces of snail for 3,000 naira, which I feel is pretty much outrageous, but I had to add it. Next, I'm adding some diced onions into the pots, followed by the pepper blend mix that I mentioned earlier, which would also serve as a base for this soup. Afterwards, I'll season this lightly with some seasoning powder and then some salt to taste. I mix everything to combine together. Now, I just want to start by cooking up the snails because the snail is the toughest seafood that I'm using for this fisherman soup recipe. And I want to start by cooking it first so that it softens up before I put the other seafood into the pot so that everything can cook evenly. Okay? Like I said before, a fisherman soup is pretty much using an array of seafood that a fisherman will catch from the sea. Add some water into the pot and give this a good stir to combine. Then cover the pot and allow the snails to cook for 10 to 12 minutes. Now when the snail is about 90% cooked, we'll proceed to continue with the cooking of the fisherman soup proper. Now the soup requires that you have a lot of base, so I'm going to go ahead and add some more water into the pot. After that, I would add some palm oil into the pot as well, followed by the ground uziza powder. Now this seasoning is actually so important for this soup because it's one of the main key ingredients for this soup, so be sure to add it, okay? I'd also add some more Cameroon pepper for some extra spice. I'm adding a lot of crayfish. Now if you notice, I'm not adding the other seafood at this point because they usually don't take a lot of time to cook at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and season the stock first to perfection and allow it to cook down gently. Finally, I would also add some salt to taste and give it all a good mix to combine. I'll add the remaining pepper mix because I don't have a lot left. I'll stir that again and then I'll cover the pot and leave this to cook for about 5 to 7 minutes. Afterwards, open up the pot and add just a little tiny bit of the cocoyam. Now the cocoyam will serve as the thickener of choice. You do not want this soup to be too thick and at the same time you don't want it to be light. You just want it to have like a semi-liquid consistency. So I'm going to be using the cocoyam to thicken it slightly. But again, it's totally up to you. Whatever consistency that you prefer, please go ahead and do you. But a fisherman soup is not supposed to be thick, neither is it supposed to be too light. It's just supposed to be somewhere in between. At this point, I'm also going to add the dry fish. Now again, you can pretty much use any seafood of your choice. It is totally up to you. Whatever you like, it's totally really up to you. I'm putting the seafood that requires more time to cook first before I put in the rest. So ensure that you do that and you don't add all the seafood at once. If not, you just have things breaking up in your pots, okay? I'll give the cocoyam a little time to melt into the stock before we go ahead to add the remaining seafood. So cover the pot and continue cooking for another 5 minutes. At this point, some of the cocoyam has dissolved. It's still dissolving. As it continues to cook, it will continue to thicken up the sauce. So we'll just continue with the cooking process. I'm going to now introduce the seafood proper, starting with the barracuda fish. Now, this barracuda fish would only have about 6 to 7 minutes to cook in the pot, which is enough time to cook it until it's nice and tender. So some people usually would cook the barracuda fish first and then some of their other seafood in a separate pot and end up using 2 pots to cook the soup. But I feel like there's no point for that. I'll just add the barracuda fish and it will still have enough time to cook in this pot. And that way, I don't have to use 2 different pots to cook 1 pot of soup, right? I think that makes a lot more sense. And because I'm the queen of fun and fast cooking, I always like the easy way out for everything. So that's why I'm doing it this way. At this point, I'm also adding the jumbo prawns. I'm using just 3 because you guys, these prawns are so freaking expensive. What? This fisherman soup is not a low budget soup at all, fam. Not at all. At this point, I'm also adding the ngolo, which doesn't also take time to cook at all. Again, ngolo is something you can easily find at the local market. Just ask the market women. And then I'll just cut that around. And the last thing I'm going to add are the colorful periwinkles, but I won't add it now. I'll add it towards the end when the soup is almost done because it doesn't require a lot of time to cook at all. I'm not going to stir this anymore. I'll just move things around gently so that I don't break up the fish in the soup. And this is the perfect consistency that you want your fisherman soup to be like. This is not too thick and it's not too light. Now cover the pot and allow this to cook for another 5 to 6 minutes. Now afterwards, open up the pot and then add the colorful periwinkles. Now the periwinkles are usually added because what is a fisherman soup without periwinkles, right? Again, like I said, it doesn't take time to cook at all. Now finally, I'm also going to be adding some uziza leaves for some extra flavor and of course a pop of color. And this is the definition of yumminess in a pot. Again, I'm not going to stir, I'm just going to slightly move things around so that I don't break up the fish in the pot. So just gently move things around so that the vegetables and periwinkles are well incorporated into the soup. At this point, guys, the fisherman soup is as good as done and ready to be devoured. The aroma here is just heavenly and divine. That's all I can say. Before we continue with the video, we have some products and services on our website that you may be interested in. The first one being my new cookbook, Winnie Sizzling Selections, which has over 100 recipes that you can choose from. It's the only cookbook that you literally been needing this year. So hurry now to the website and order a copy for yourself. We also have our meal plan collection that has different meal plans like the low carb meal plan, the weight loss meal plan, the weight gain meal plan, the detox meal plan, and the plant-based meal plan as well. And then we also have our aprons and our smoothie ebook, which has over 30 smoothie recipes, and our healthy snack ebook as well, which has over 25 healthy snack recipes. We have a range of products and you definitely want to check out the products on our website. And guess what, family? We're currently running a discount on all the products on the website. So now will be a good time to go and order a thing, or 2, or 3. All right, let's go back into the video. You guys, I'm not even kidding you. The aroma in this kitchen is so heavenly. And I like the way this thing is bubbling so nicely. Everything has been added. Oof. I just gave it another 2 minutes just for everything to marry well together. I'm really loving what I'm seeing. And it's time to give this a taste test. I want to bring your attention to the consistency of this soup. Now, when you're making fisherman soup, you do not want the soup to be too thick. And at the same time, you don't want it to be too runny. You want it to be you want it to have the balance between thick and runny. So like a semi-liquid consistency will be perfect. And this is always the perfect consistency for me. You can literally enjoy this soup with any swallow of your choice, gari, pounded yam, or you can have it just as is, which is usually my preferred options. Just enjoy it just as is, so you can really take in all that flavor. And I'd also consider this a healthy meal if you're eating it just as is. It's time for the taste test. I'm just gonna give this a taste right from the pot. Whew, smells good, looks good. Does it taste good? Let's find out now. It's so freaking hot. Oh, fam. I need to do a second taste. This time with a bigger spoon. Oh my God. Even I am impressed. No kidding, guys. Even I am impressed. Ooh. Oh, no, this soup is everything and more. Definitely worth trying. And I'm grateful to Viva for encouraging me to film this recipe for you all. 10/10. You definitely need to go try it. And see, let me tell you, to be honest, don't just make this thing for the people in your life that like good food. Make it for yourself as well. You deserve the love and you deserve a good treat, okay? All that's left now is just serve this up on a plate, enjoy it with any sort of your choice, and boom, your fisherman soup is ready to be devoured. Anyways, guys, I think my job here is done. I'll see you next time with another mouth-watering and delicious recipe. Until then, remember to be very kind to one another, love yourselves generously, and as always, it's me, the queen of fun and fast cooking, signing out right now. Take care, guys.